Yeah, we have that breaking news coming down within just the last hour here. Former President Donald Trump has entered a plea of not guilty in connection to the alleged election interference right here in Georgia. Good afternoon. I'm Don Schiffman.
And I'm Joy Lim-Nakrin. Now, we have also learned he's filed a waiver to avoid appearing at his arraignment in the case right here in Fulton County. The judge would need to sign off on that. But remember, Trump and his 18 co-defendants were set to be arraigned in Fulton County Superior Court next Wednesday, September 6th. But several of the defendants have already waived their appearances, including now the former president. Trump surrendered at the Fulton County Jail last week after being indicted on RICO violations, conspiracy, false statements, and numerous other charges.